talk with y'all today about the informational. Raise your hand if you've ever requested to pick someone's brain. I can't see anybody, so hopefully hands are raised. But anyway, I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure we're all guilty of that in some form. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to talk through navigating internal opportunities. Now, I've got some stuff for the folks who are looking for external opportunities too. But I do believe in my heart of hearts that we miss out on opportunities to grow within. We also miss out on opportunities to get on an entirely different ladder by joining a new company in what we might consider a lateral move or maybe even a slightly downwards move with the intention of getting us onto a new ladder, which is going to help us go higher faster. So that's what we're going to talk through today. So what really is the purpose of an informational discussion? What is an informational in recruiter speak? So a lot of times it can look like a coffee chat. Hey, can I grab coffee with you? Can we just jump on a call for 15 minutes? Can we meet, at a coffee shop for half an hour? And I want to ask some questions. I want to learn more about you. I want to talk through my career goals, things like that. Who do I ask? Who should I even be talking to anyway? Friends, I am always and forever going to be a fan of talking to people who can actually move me forward. I don't want to talk to just anybody. I don't want to waste those precious brain picking opportunities on random folks. I want to talk to people who know something I don't know. I want to talk to people who might be in a position to make me an offer. Hello, future manager. Are you on the call? Should we chat? Just kidding, not looking. But if I am, y'all will be the first to know. Are they maybe peers? I'm telling you, if I'm laid off tomorrow, I'm calling everybody on this call. Okay. I'm going to call everybody and be like, hey, remember me? I got a t-shirt for you. You want to chat? So there's lots of different ways that we can explore potential opportunities and people whose brains we might want to scratch at a little bit, but also recruiters, right? We all get these calls all the time. I'm sure recruiters on the call, I'm sure get these every day. And it makes sense if there's proper alignment. So we're going to dig into that a little bit as well. So what is really the purpose of this? And this is an interesting problem to solve because I think we all know that there's a big push and you can't open LinkedIn without an influencer telling you that networking is the best way to get a job. And that is probably true, probably quite true and accurate. But what if I told you the gap is that no one's telling us how to network? I had to learn this, just like I'm sure everyone else on the call. This is not something that necessarily comes naturally, especially to the more neurodivergent introvert types like myself. People are always surprised when I say that, but I promise it's true. So I had to learn. And so I'm going to share with you all just some things that I have found to be very helpful. And this is what I give my coaching clients as well. So folks that I do job search coaching with, my candidates who may be not successful with my organization, anything, I give them all of these same tips. All right, so how do I prepare for this informational? First of all, understand what is actually available to us, right? It does not do me any good if I'm a, corporate recruiter, which I have been for a very long time. Most of y'all know that about me. And I have, certain skills, certain things I'm looking for in my next job. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense for me to go down to the neighborhood grocery store and ask for an informational. They're probably not going to hire a full-time recruiter, right? Or the small mom and pop shop that maybe, doesn't hire more than, 10, 15 people a year. There might be an agency play there, but they're not necessarily going to be looking for an internal recruiter or someone to do that on a full-time basis. So really understanding like what is actually available to me, that's going to help me understand and know where to point my efforts. So this can be searching the careers page. This could be following organizations, following thought leaders in the space that you want to work in, whatever it might be. Lots of different options to figure out what's out there, but really just understanding what's available. Who hires the kind of talent that I am or I'm working towards becoming? Are they hiring right now? This is tough for recruiters, I know, because we're kind of we're kind of the redheaded stepchild, she says, as a redheaded stepchild. So this is kind of a crappy market to try to do this in, but there are opportunities out there, and there definitely are organizations that are still hiring and starting to pick up hiring, albeit slowly, but these things are starting to happen. So really taking the time to understand, like, okay, where could I possibly go with this skill set and with this knowledge? The second thing you want to do is really prepare your pitch. Okay. And I know I caught the tail end of Brian's. I cannot wait to go watch the recording because I got to start figuring out which emojis I want to put in this. I am such a like Gen X, but also like boomer vibes because I can't quit the crying, laughing emoji. It's my absolute favorite. Drive my kids nuts with it. So is that a good one, Brian? I don't know. Call me later. Let me know if I if I need to upgrade my emoji game. But we want to prep that pitch. And I think for me on the receiving end of a lot of these, the more specific, the more clear, and the more intentional that someone is about their request and what they are wanting from me and what time they're asking for and how they want to spend that time, the more likely I am to respond. I get hundreds of messages every week that just say, hey, Amy, I think you're great and I'd love to chat with you. The odds of me responding to that are pretty darn slim. And not because I don't care, not because I'm a monster, but just because if I don't know what you want from me, I don't know, I don't have enough information to really determine if this is a good use of my time. Do I have those 15 minutes to carve out? Do I have something helpful for the person asking? I really want to make sure that if we're jumping on a call, you leave with something valuable for me. I don't want to just waste your time, even if you're the one asking for it. And I just really want to make sure that that 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever, that coffee chat is time well spent. So prepping my pitch is going to be really specific and clear. I'm going to lead with exactly what I'm hoping to get out of this conversation. I'm going to give you a high level, like, here's why I'm reaching out to you. Here's what it is about your profile, or here's what it is about maybe we've had previous interactions, whatever it might be that, basically got me to contact you. And I'm going to ask for something very clear and specific. So we can get into more of that as well. I am a huge fan of like interaction. And so I'm going to try to monitor chat while we're going through this. But I definitely want to hear, what y'all think. And what questions would you have? And how would you, also do the same thing, right? We all learn from each other. So preparing that pitch and really kind of going in with a clear and specific ask is going to be really, really helpful. And then finally, just targeting the right people. We kind of touched on that already, right? That could be potential peers. I have tried really hard to stay in touch with people that I've worked with in the past. That is obviously recruiters are a big, big group, but also former hiring managers. I have hiring managers that still remember me and that I've still stayed in touch with and I'm still friends with. And when those times come, or I just kind of need to see what's out there, or I trying to help a friend or something, I tap those folks. We had a good relationship. We had a good working partnership. I'm going to try to lean on them for future opportunities as well. Recruiters, again, if you're working specifically in the industry I'm trying to get into, if I'm an engineer, I'm going to go talk to engineering recruiters. If I'm a marketer, I'm going to go find those, sales and marketing type recruiters. And so really, again, just knowing that audience and finding the right people. And so Carolina, I hope I said that right. Yes, you're right. People are not going to read a lengthy email. We're not asking for a laundry list here, but I think, and I would challenge everyone, if you're interested in a little bit of homework, what if we all took a stab at one of those bright, bold, quick outreaches? Can we get all that information in a nice little few sentence summary, no more than a paragraph or two, that is enough information to someone to pick up the phone? Let's try it out. Y'all can try it on me. All right. I'll try to respond to those. Okay. I think it is a good call, though. It is a good call. We're not writing a novel, people, but we are going to write a heck of a teaser trailer. All righty. So understanding our options. And this is where, for those of us that are currently employed or maybe even underemployed, I know that's also happening a lot in our industry and really the industry at large, right? But what do you do if you just want out of your current job? Like, this is no longer serving me. I'm not happy anymore. I've kind of hit a growth ceiling here. What do you do? Look at your own internal career site. I talk to so many job seekers every week, and they're all focused on leaving. They're all focused on, like, I'm just not digging this anymore. And so one of the questions I'll ask, like, is it toxic? Like, tell me what's going on. What's making it bad? What's making it like so brutal that you really are just trying to bounce? And a lot of times it's, oh, I'm just kind of bored. Well, I just got a new boss, and I mean, they're okay, but it's not the greatest job I've ever had. Okay. I mean, these are all valid reasons. You are free to vote with your feet. You are free to leave. But there are so many missed opportunities internally. And here's the benefit to pursuing something internally. You're already known. You're already a known entity. You already, ideally in a perfect world, have some of that credibility, have some of that. Yeah, Ellie, you got me, girl. Now I'm distracted. And what? Where? But that's the message you send, right, Ellie? Hey, Amy, somebody said something about the ATS. I think you need to come over. Let's talk. I'll pick your brain. Good call. And that's, you know what? I didn't even put that in the slide, but we're going to come back to that in just a sec. Not the ATS, but attention triggers. We're going to come back to that. Thank you, Ellie. Okay. So if you are tapping that internal careers page, yeah, absolutely, Jason, maybe they are getting priority. I think that depends on the organization. There's some variables there, of course, so you really kind of need to know where you're at and how they look at those things. But yes, looking at what is available internally, you now have a very direct line to the decision maker. They're your colleague. They're your coworker. I get hit up on Slack all the time at my current organization. People want to talk about, that role I posted or this team I'm on or those folks I worked with last week. And so tapping into that and just understanding, like, you get that opportunity to ask those questions. What's it like to work there? What are the things you're looking for? How could someone like me, make a pivot from, my friend Tejal just made a pivot from recruiting to product management, like marketing. It's amazing. And she did so internally. Right? Like, I wish I would have grabbed time with her and talked to her more about that, because I could have given you some more insight. But those kinds of things happen all the time. And again, it's you're now leveraging your internal street cred with this organization. Something else that you can do, start thinking about ways that you can collaborate. One of my personal passions is employer branding. So I follow heavy hitters like James Ellis and people who are just killing it in this space. And I love all things branding. So you best believe when the time came and the opportunity arose, I was raising my hand like, I can help with EB. I could, yeah, all those great names. Thank you, David. I knew there were so many more I wasn't thinking of, but yes, amazing, amazing, amazing people. And I raised my hand and said, I'm passionate about this. Like, I make a lot of noise on LinkedIn, and sometimes people like it. I don't get in trouble every time I open my mouth, just sometimes. And so just a little, Angie, just a smidge. But I was able to actually start doing some collaborations with those teams. And so I've got, without belaboring that too much and going into too much detail, call me if you want to know more. I'm now very involved in some of the branding things that we're working on, which is super fun. And so, not saying I'm ever going to leave recruiting, but there is that possibility. And I've now got some things and I'm building some things currently that I could put on my resume if I wanted to make a similar switch to more of the branding side or even a broader marketing type of opportunity. Another cool thing you can look at is stretch assignments. So anybody here, and maybe just drop a thumbs up in the chat or speak up or whatever, raise your hand, etc. But does anybody work for an organization that has formal stretch assignments? At Google, we called them, I think we called them bungees. There's like different terminology that can be used, but do you know what I'm talking about? It's like an actual formal plan. Okay, I will explain as best I can, Susan. And this is probably more for larger companies. So again, your mileage might vary depending on where you are, but you can, in certain organizations, actually go and do a 9-month project or a 9 month, I think Neha, I think it was 9 months at Google, if I remember correctly. Microsoft also had something similar. I can't think of what it was called, but where you actually can go do another job for 9 months. My former manager at Google had actually just come off of a bungee where he had been an HRBP for 9 months prior to coming back to recruiting in a manager role. So while, in some cases you go and you do that special project or that stretch assignment, maybe it's not for you, and that's absolutely okay. But now you're getting to stretch. You're getting to see how other teams live. You're getting to, maybe learn a little bit about the things that you do like or don't like. I always wonder, like, was HR that bad? Is that why you came back? Never got a direct answer to that, by the way. Yeah, Rumspringa. Yes, I love it. Go out there and go wild. See what happens. See what you like. That's a good one. So those stretch assignments can be really great. And then also just simply volunteering. And this is, again, kind of more, I believe it. Y'all probably get more complaints than recruiting, believe it or not. I don't know, but I'm just speculating. It probably could be, we could be neck and neck there. But volunteering, right? And so this is, again, kind of like my EB stuff and the branding things that I'm doing with my current company is based on volunteering, right? Like I still have my day job and I'm still 100% accountable for all the things I'm doing every day, but I do have this, kind of volunteer to take on some additional work. And again, all of those things. Oh gosh, ERG groups, brilliant. Jason, that's a great call out. Again, most larger companies already have something like this. If yours doesn't, build it. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to start thinking about, what can I build? What can I bring to my organization? Which, again, on the one hand, you're going to do something good for your organization, you're going to learn some things, you're going to build a skill. But on the other hand, it helps build you and helps provide more insight for your resume for when you're ready to go explore externally. I think everyone here hopefully would agree. And if you have a different experience, please explain how you got it, because I'm telling you, it's been rough for a lot of people I know. But when we try to pivot into something different externally, we are competing with all the people internally and externally who already have that skill. And that's where it gets really, really tricky. So I would just caution everybody, it's not impossible to pivot externally. We're going to dig into it just a little bit here before we wrap. But I think the more that you can do it internally, and yeah, to your point, Shawana, creating something within your organization, these are amazing accomplishments and verifiable data-driven things. I built this resource group. I, got membership from 0 to 100 over a 3-month period, whatever that looks like. Absolutely a great resume booster. This is somebody who's going above and beyond. This is somebody who's nailing the day job, but is actually doing more. Actually, and that's the currency. That's the corporate currency, y'all. We are all here exchanging our labor for money. And sometimes that little extra labor, that little, extra credit can help get us to the top of the class. Something to think about. All righty. So what is the pitch? And I know we talked a little about, okay, is it too long and nobody's going to read it? And how do I get their attention? And so you want to A/B test this a little bit. Okay. I don't want to presume that, every person's going to have the same appetite for this kind of content. You want to test out, just like Brian was sharing with like emojis and subject lines and things, you might have like, yeah, can you redeem the extra credit? Let us pray. Maybe you can redeem it for a t-shirt. Let's talk. But you want to, kind of test out like, what is getting you the most responses, right? It is the lengthier message, the more content, the more detail, is that getting me more responses than a short, simple message? Try it out. There's so many variables here, not only what you're putting in your message, but frankly, the audience. And you may notice like, well, gosh, engineers tend to be, less is more with those fellas, right? Less is more with those individuals. They don't want the novel. They don't want a ton of info. They're happy with a 2-liner. A marketing person may be super interested in reading all about it. I don't know. So I would just encourage you to try it out, test it, see what works for you. But basically, This is a hill I'm not necessarily going to die on, but I'll probably be willing to hang out for a while. The more clarity you can provide, I think the better results you're going to get. And you don't need a response from everybody. I get that. You're, just like sales, just like biz dev, just like recruiting. A lot of people are going to tell you no. That's okay. But the more clarity you can provide, the higher your chances of the right people responding and reacting and giving you time, I think, will increase. So going into this with a really clear understanding of your superpowers. Okay. One of the one of the harder messages for me personally to receive is I can do anything. I just need a job. I'm just looking for an opportunity. I'll do anything. I understand where that comes from. I've been unemployed. I've gone through layoffs. I've been the broke girl, not sure how she's going to feed her kids. I get it. I understand the emotion behind that. And a lot of times we will pitch something like that in the hopes that we're opening up opportunity. But in a weird way, it's actually limiting opportunity. And so, to your point, Brian, about being the Swiss Army knife, sir, I'm just trying to open a wine bottle. Okay. Show me the corkscrew. That's what I'm here for. I'm not so worried about the screwdriver and all the other things. But if you show me, hey, I'm a Swiss Army knife, but can I interest you in this very specific attachment? Yes, you can. So this is where, again, doing some of that pre-work, knowing your audience, being very cautious of who I'm reaching out to and what I want from them really helps like frame the right messaging. The message I'm going to send a hiring manager is going to be very different than the message I'm going to send a recruiter. I'll be very transparent with you on that. So so understanding your superpowers, understanding your skills, like really knowing what it is that I want to get out of this. And that goes into knowing your why. Like the reason I'm reaching out to you is because you have this background. I'm trying to learn more about it, those kinds of things. So, and then just asking for advice is, look, I'm willing to go out on a limb here and say that many of us are probably here speaking because we love to talk shop. Like we love to educate and teach and share and learn from our peers and use that same energy. Tap into that same motivation, right? When people are asking for help, coming to me and saying, Amy, you're so funny, your dogs are so cute, and you've been doing this for so long, I bet you could help me with this one problem. Tell me more about how cute my dogs are. I like it. Let's go. I will help you. Right. And so tapping into that person's emotional currency helps them feel more confident and comfortable that, hey, this person asked a real specific question I probably have an answer to. They've paid attention to who I am, like they're familiar with me and my work or what's important to me or what have you, and they're looking for something really clear, like I can do this, I can give that 10 minutes, I can provide that insight or whatever. So yeah, we'd love to help, learn, and support. I absolutely agree with you, Neha. So tap into that. Dogs is always going to be the killer opener for me. That is how I will meet my maker. I will pet the wrong dog, and that's going to be that. So I actually booked a cruise to Alaska. For those that follow me, I'm kind of into this. I'm in this like Mrs. Roper cruise era now. Booked a cruise to Alaska, and my husband's like pulling up the pictures from the last dog sled event we went to, and he's like, "Do you think the dog's still there? Do you think they'll know?" Which can we see the puppy we held a year and a half ago? So yeah, it's always, and yeah, exactly. Boop the wrong nose. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. So that's always an opener for me. You want to get my attention, send me dog pics. Okay. Moving on. In the interest of time, I could do this all day. So who do I talk to? We've already kind of covered this, right? You want to find people who have some kind of authority, right? Someone who is in a position, ideally, to move you forward. It is all about forward momentum. It's all about like who can actually give me advice, who's knowledgeable in this space, who has the insight, the connections, the network that I can tap into. And then how do you get their attention? What commonalities do you have with them? Did y'all go to the same school? Did you grow up in the same area? Do you have mutual friends? Do you all love dogs? Right? There's no wrong way to approach that. It doesn't have to be business related. It's maybe nice if it is, but it doesn't have to be. But just find those common connections, right? And so just really thinking about, where there's a connection point. Hey, I saw you speak at the Hire Easy conference. I really love what you said about emojis. Brian, I'm going to use that all day, every day. So that's, again, you want to find those commonalities and again, kind of think of a way to tap into the emotional currency. And then finally, industry experts. This whole session, this whole event over the next 2 days, full of industry experts. If y'all are not making friends in the comments right now and connecting with each other and chatting with each other and figuring out the way to, make those connections, do that. That is your second bit of homework, okay? Should you be willing to accept it? So really tapping into folks that know more than you do. There are many that know more than I do, and I'm so grateful for all of you for being part of my network. So all well and good when you're employed, right? I promised y'all we were going to talk about unemployed pivots, so I want to kind of close out with that quickly. So what happens if I got nothing? I'm starting from the starting line. I'm at zero. I don't have those internal opportunities. I don't have something I can pivot to. But here's the thing. There's what you can do. It's what you can get paid to do. This is a conversation I have often with my own manager as I think about what's next for me. Where do I go from here? Is management the right track? Do I want to pursue maybe a principal recruiter path? Do I go somewhere else entirely? I mean, that's an option too, right? You never know. So as I'm having those career conversations, whether it's with my boss, whether it's with mentors or other folks that have helped me along the way, I really need to understand, what is it? What are my superpowers? What am I good at? But what can I get paid to do? Who's going to give me money to pet dogs? This is the real question we need answers to. Okay. How do I make fang money petting dogs? If y'all figure it out, let me know. I will sign up immediately. So, but knowing the market, knowing yourself, understanding where that intersection is between, hey, here's what I'm really good at, here's what I'm passionate about, here's what I'm excited about, here's where I can do it for a living. Okay, so really understand. Yeah, well, Rover, I'm gonna have to walk a lot of dogs. I feel like, Mike. I don't know how well that pays. Maybe it depends. Like by pound, like bigger dogs, I can make more money. I'm down for that. I have a Chihuahua. I really need some big dog energy, so she's kind of a mess. So, all right. So with that, friends, this would be my guidance for anyone who is looking. It is absolutely okay to take a role that feels incredibly lateral, or even maybe a tick down, right? Maybe we now have to go and contract for a while. Maybe we now have to go and take, kind of lower level positions just to get back into the paid market, just to make, those connections. Every opportunity to apply, to interview, to go contract, to go do short-term assignments is an opportunity to continue building your network. And I joke around all the time, again, if layoffs come tomorrow, I'm calling search wizards. I'm be like, hey, you need somebody for a day, a week, a month? I'm there. Sign me up. Like, I have no shame. I will go do anything for any amount of money, right? Yes, search wizards is amazing. I love Miranda. So that's where I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna rest on like, well, I was a senior recruiter for 20 years and I'm not gonna lower myself. Oh, I'm going all the way down. I will lower myself to the lowest if it means getting paid, and also means getting connected, building those networks, making those connections, and making sure that everybody I'm coming in contact with knows my story, knows my superpowers, and knows my goals. So don't be afraid to share that with your peers. We are all here to support each other and to hopefully lift each other up. You can find me and everything about me on my website, recruitingin.yogapants.com. Link to the shop if you're interested in a little swag. So we do have I do sell recruiter swag. So please go check it out. Speaking of recruiter swag, all proceeds go to the NOAA Center, which is a local animal shelter out where I live. So yes, I would, Laura, sign me up. I'll bring my lab because she's very friendly. The Chihuahua can't come, but I will definitely bring my dog if we could just do that. That would be so amazing. Even my introverted self would be down for that kind of program.